Hey guys, this is E with Scrapbooking with me. Can you believe it is the end of March? I can't believe it. This year is running away from me and I don't know I don't know how to control it. I don't guess you can control it, can you? I have this little basket on my desk and I put anything that's not finished completely, which a lot of times I finish my ephemera, but sometimes I don't. I stick it in here, and then I have it right here in front of my face, and I know that I need to work on it. So today I was trying to figure out what I wanted to do, and I've got so much to do that I have found out that when you feel overwhelmed, when you feel like you've got so much going on and you can't get it all done, you just start with one thing. So I'm going to start with some ephemera. I always need ephemera, so that's what I'm going to start with. So I pulled out some odds and ends of everything. I've got these little dividers that were in a Rolodex that I got from probably a sale somewhere. And then I've got some of these that come out of our, I think this is from Vintage Ephemera or Old Letters. Can't remember. My digital. And these are copies of my originals. And then I've got lots of Easter things here that I need to put backings to. So I've got plenty to do. And then I have some of these that are just pieces of book. They're book pages. And I thought they're too pretty to throw away. So I might do some with those. Now, I'm not going to get all this done. There's no way. No way. But I'll do what I can. How's that sound? We will play with what we can play with. Now some of these I can put over because we did go back and finish those. Well, finish to the point they can go in a journal. So I'll put those over that way. Now I got a lot of these cards from someone. I can't remember who sent them to me. I think I got them last year as a matter of fact. And they're beautiful cards. They're a little shiny, which I don't mind. But they have a white back to them, and I don't particularly care for white back. So I liked a little bit of a, I don't know, I like a little bit of color on the back of them, like tan or off-white or something like that. And then I have this is a little pouch that I sewed from a napkin. This is a napkin. Well, I didn't sew it. I put washi tape around it. Excuse me. And I have a I have a digital for that. I have a video that shows that. Good gravy. I'm losing it big time. And I also have my printer going. I hope that don't distract you guys, but you guys went crazy over the digital sale. So I'm printing. That's all I've been doing all day today since I got up. So hopefully it won't distract you. But I can't stop it. I've got lots to do, so we're just going to work on this and hopefully get some of these things done. And I won't do all of these. I'll do different things, so don't think, oh my goodness, all she's going to do is stick things to things. So I don't need to watch that. No, I'm going to do lots of different things. And I had quite a few emails about this punch. We do have more on order. They are, right now, they're supposed to be at the supplier today. They were actually on back order from the supplier. So hopefully they'll ship out either tomorrow or the next day. So maybe we'll have them by the end of the week. And I've ordered as many as they'll let me have, and hopefully they'll ship them all. You know, that's the thing. Sometimes I might order 50 and they might only send me 10. So I never know. Never ever know what I'm going to get. But I have ordered about 40, so we'll see how many I get. But I've got to finish up my Easter journals, and I thought this would be, some of this Easter stuff would be good to finish, to go in there. So see, that one is finished. I don't think it needs anything on it. I think it's good as it is. So I'm going to skip past that. These can go in just like they are. They're kind of a cream color, so they can go in like they are. I might, when I start to put them in the journal, put a little label or something on them, but they're ready to go. So we're gonna go on down to the pile and do something different. I think for this, now I did these, oh, probably last year sometime. I took these and tore them out like I have this one, and I backed them and made them wraparounds for the journal. And they're just the right size for a nice wraparound. And you can either do them, you know, you don't have to center them because one's going to be on one page and one the other. So you could do them a little bit off. I like to have the address showing on one side, so I think I'll do mine like that. Now, I said back it. You don't have to back these because they're going to be glued down and the back's not going to show. But this, I printed this on regular copy paper, so I am going to back mine. You do not have to. And you can back it with whatever you want. As a matter of fact, I may just back it with some old book page. Let's see if I have any that would go there. Yep, you can just back it with the Sudoku. Okay, sounds like my printer ran out of paper, so it's probably stopped for a while. Yeah, it's gonna say beep in a minute, so get ready. Now I'm gonna cut this just because it'll save me a little bit of time maybe. But I'm not gonna cut it straight. I'm kind of cutting some little curves and grooves in there. So if you print this on a thicker paper, then you do not have to back it. I had regular paper in my printer the day that I printed these, and I just printed them on regular. Now, I'm going to fold it where her name will show, like that. Now when we start to glue down, we'll just glue on this page. We'll probably glue down through here and across the bottom, because that's a nice, you can fit a nice tag in there. Even that would fit in there. But then on the other page, we'll probably just glue across the bottom, because that can be a side tuck. And we'll put some decorations on that, as I call them. Sometimes I call them decorations. Let's see, where is my, I think they're in here. Thank you guys for all the orders that you placed over the weekend. That really helps us out. I'm going to put that there, I think. And this is just some of those little stamps that my friend sent me. Whoops. Alright, let's try going that route and see if it'll work. That worked. There we go. So we got it, finally. So that will be probably all that side needs. I may put a little label there. Let's try just a little Tim Holtz label. This is from his numbers and labels, I do believe. I think we've got, looks like we might have some of these in stock. Now there was quite a few of you that sent me emails telling me that you didn't get our newsletter. Please check your junk folder if it's still not there, which a lot of you probably already have. If it's still not there, then send me an email to the email below. Now, I tried to send one to somebody this morning, and I got it back that said that my message was blocked. So make sure that it's an email that I can send things to, because if it's blocked, I can't do anything with it. You know what I'm going to do? Get my stamps. Hold on. Okay, I just grabbed a couple of stamps and a couple of inks. We won't go overboard with stamping here, because if we do, it'll take me all day long to do this. This just says received, and we'll stamp this on. And this is from the Tim Holtz Field Notes. We don't have this particular one in stock, but I'll link below where you can find it. And let's just put one like that too. I love this stamp set. It's probably my favorite. And then this one, somebody asked me about this one. I tried to find it. I'm not sure that I did though. I looked everywhere to see where I might have gotten it from. And I don't know. If it's not linked on that video where I did all the stamping, then I didn't find it. And this is just a little splatter stamp. Just put a little splatter on there. I have been sneezing all morning. Yes, I have. It's just that time of year. I'm going to put a couple of those on there, and then I'll put maybe one here. There we go. We might even stamp a little bit on this side. Let's see what else I have. Excuse me if I sniffle, I apologize. A front, I apologize ahead of time. Apologize. You know, I can't even talk today. Let's see. Let's use this one. I think I did find this one on Amazon, I think. And I linked it. I'll try to remember to link that video so you guys can go and check that out if you want to. Where I did all the stamping and I linked as many stamps as I could find below the video. I think that's good. That little bit and that little bit. I like that. So we'll let that one go as it is. And then we'll put it for the finished part. Now these can be, there's tons of things that these can be used for, but I'll show you a couple ways that I use them. I ended up with a ton the day that Presley and I went to a thrift store. I found a bunch of Rolodexes and I got, I think, all of them. They were like 99 cents. And I ended up with a bunch of these. So these you can turn into the little file folders like we was making the other day. What we're going to do is put a piece of paper on the back, and then we'll turn this front part into a file folder. So let's find, I just want a piece of paper just plain because we can use it to write on, or you can just stick it down in a pocket or whatever. So I'm just going to get a plain piece of paper and put this on there. Now I'm going to cut it a little bit taller than this. So I'm going to leave about a ½ inch or a little bit more down there. And then we're going to trace around this. Whoops. I can't even draw a straight line when I've got something straight to go by. And then I'm going to trim this little piece off right here. Now you could put digital on the back, put something really pretty on there. I'm just going to leave it so that it can be a journal spot. Really, you don't even need this little tab. Let's just chunk that little tab off. We don't need it. Don't need it. So what we're going to do is put this up here like this. And then we're just going to fold this little piece up. So let's just get it as straight as possible. And see, if you had a decorative piece, that would look cute folded up. But I'll tell you something else we can do. First off, I'm going to cut this straighter and erase this pencil mark right here. I still can't find my other eraser. I know it's here. I do know it's here. So we're going to put a piece of washi across there. And that's just going to be, whoops, I got two washes. And that is just going to be our little seal for that. Plus it'll give it a little bit of decoration on the front. Put our bird the right way up. So did you guys have a good weekend? We had, I had a good one. The kids were all gone, and I just kind of did my housework, and I did some cleaning. Not much, because Erin does most of it. Just did a little bit of cleaning, and then I worked on digitals all weekend. And watched a couple of shows that somebody had recommended to me. I was kind of lazy. I was planning on doing videos, but I didn't get them done. See, I like that. That's cute. And now we can decorate this front. And I'm not worried about that. It has a W on there. That doesn't bother me. what we're going to do is, now you can leave this to open. Let's see, which way do we want to do this? Leave it to open, and you'll have all of this journaling, but we'd have to put something on here too, wouldn't we? Let's just go ahead and cover both sides. So yeah, I kind of rested a little bit. I didn't rest much, but I rested a little. I can't stay still too long. I wish I could. That's why I don't sleep at night. I can't stay still. I keep my legs going 90 miles an hour, and I roll and tumble and twist, and then I don't sleep. Bless my little hubby's heart. He used to say, "Can you please just be still for 5 minutes so I can go to sleep?" And I couldn't. I just couldn't. And I have taken all the medicines that they have given me about, you know, restless leg and all this kind of stuff, and it doesn't help. It's my mind won't shut down. It just goes 90 miles an hour. I thought about something I wanted to do with, a friend gave me a bunch of napkins. Napkins? No. Handkerchiefs. There you go. Handkerchiefs. A couple of years ago, she gave me a bunch of these. Maybe last year. And I've been trying to think of something to do with them to be able to use them in your journal. So I think I've come up with something. And we might try this tomorrow. This is the start. Now, I put this piece in here to make it a little bit thicker. You don't have to do that, or if you don't want to stitch it, you can just glue it in. This is just a piece of canvas. And then this is going to be a pocket, and we're going to make some little notebooks out of these. And I'm going to hand stitch this and that, and you could hand stitch all of this if you wanted. I was just whipping it up real quick to see what I can make, so that's my story, and I'm sticking to it. But I'm about out of those little journals that I give out to everybody when they make a purchase of a big journal. I usually give those little, what I call scrap journals to them, and I think I've only got 2 left. So I wanted to make a few more little journal pieces to give out to them. Cute. Now we're going to put a little piece of washi in here, since this is kind of trying to come up on us. I may not get but 1 or 2 things done. I'm going awful slow today. And I can't find the end to the washi. And I know some people put a little pen or a paper clip or something there and it works great, but I've got so many different washis, it would take all the paper clips in my stash to do that. I know all the things to do, I just don't always do them. And see that little white that's around there? That doesn't bother me because I use my ink to cover it up, and it makes it fine. So then you can journal all in here, all back here. Let's go ahead and get this little guy folded back up, even though our ink is not dry. Ink, not ink, Edith. Glue. Our glue is not dry. Doesn't bother me. And I think I did another video on using these too, and somebody said that they sure was glad because they had lots of them and they was trying to figure out how to use them. So here you go. Here's another way. I think on the front, let's see, I might put this, just a little piece of this. This is a piece of vellum that I printed on my printer, and I might use a piece of that. Now, somebody said they can't get vellum to print on their printer. I don't know what kind of vellum you're trying to use, so I can't really advise you too much. The vellum that we sell in the store, it prints on the printers very easy. I print it on, well, there's 3 printers in this office, and I print it on, uh-oh, look at that. Edith, you made a big mess. I printed on all 3 of them, and it works. So I've never had a problem with it. If you're using just a very, very, very thin vellum, you might have an issue. This one is thin enough that you can see through, but it's not so thin that it won't pull through the printer. So maybe try a different vellum. Okay, we're going to put that right there, and I don't mind that it had a little chunk out of the top of it. I'm going to use my glue stick. Use your Barely Arts if that's what you have. It will not show through your vellum once it dries. So just use your Barely Arts. I just don't have mine pulled out right now. I need to pull it back out and use it a bunch. There we go. We've got that. I've got a little bird there, but what would it look like if I put another bird on it? Would that look okay? Let's do it. I like it. These little sticky birds was sent to me by one of you guys too. Oh, I'll have to chop just a tiny bit. Didn't move him over quite far enough. That's okay. He will be fine. There we go. And then you could put just a little number up here. Why don't we try that? Just put a little number at the top. Let's use one of these. These are from Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah. That's where I get these number labels. And yes, I am 100% sure. Somebody asked me the other day, well, they told me the other day, when I said these came from Tina from Shabby Dabby Doodah, she said, I think you're wrong on where your number labels come from. And I said, wrong and how? And she said, they come from, and she named another Etsy seller. She said, they did not come from Tina. And I said, oh, yes, they did too. Because I've never purchased anything from that other Etsy seller. So, I know Tina's numbers. These are Tina's. The only other numbers that I use from anybody is Betty. Betty has some numbers. And I've got them in here too. That's Betty's numbers. But I can tell the difference in everybody's numbers. And I know these come from Tina. I've had them forever. Okay, now you can round the corners on these if you want. I think I'm going to leave mine like that. So that's a little piece. Have I spent enough time talking today? You rattle, rattle, rattle. Now I've got these. These were from Rachel's, one of Rachel's Easter packs that I purchased last year before. I don't remember which. And they're cute as is, but I thought since I cut them out with them together like this, I thought I might leave them together. But that's going to make my little rabbit upside down. I can't do that. Okay, we won't leave them together. Let's go ahead and do some other ones first. I tell you what, we've got these pieces right here that we need to finish so that I can put those in journals. And I'm going to work on one of those. I have a hard time working on these, but somebody sent these to me, so I thought I would work on them. And let's do this piece of a tag. I don't know where this come from. It was in something that I bought. Let's go ahead and do it before we start on anything else. Let me see. What do I have here? Do I have paper? Or you know what? We could use one of these. Yeah, I don't think I would lose too much by using one of those. And like I said, this is just out of a book. It's not anything else, just out of a book. So this is going to be a real miscellaneous video. A lot of this people would throw away, so I guess you could call this from junk to journal. I haven't done one of those series in a while. I need to do one of those. You know, I have so many series going on, I forget that I need to do a video for this and a video for that. And then I end up forgetting that I need to do all those videos. And I run out of time. I don't have enough time to get them done. Let's see. Let's put it a bit lower. And I'm just going to, yeah, that looks pretty straight. Yeah, I run out of steam and hours before I run out of things to do. Anybody else do that? We got an order in today, but it didn't have the punches in it, but it does have some restock of a bunch of things. So, And the sale on the digitals ends tonight at 12:01 midnight. So if you want to get it on the 50% off sale on the digitals, then you've only got a few hours to do that. And I'll put the code here on the screen, and I'll also put it below. That's pretty, isn't it? That'll make a really pretty tag. I think I'll put just a piece of paper on the back, not cover the whole thing, because I don't mind this. Let's put this on there, a piece of this. Yeah, let's glue it right there. We can just trim it off on the edges. You can write on this piece. Okay, so that's the back you can write on. And then we've got this front part. And I'm going to use my little punch here, ribbon punch. And I will be adding some seam binding in it from my scrap cabin shop. I don't have it down right now. I have my seam binding up on my shelf, high shelf. So, but I will be adding some of that in it. And this will be a pretty spring card, or tag, I should say. Okay, that one's done. So let's try one of these. Let's see what we can do with it. They're vintage enough that they can be written on the back, so I really don't have to do anything to the back of them. Let's see. I think I'm going to use this side. I'd rather have 2s as 1 plus 0. Let's cover a little bit of it with something. What about just a piece of the vellum? And then you could still see the numbers through. Well, that should work. Let's just do that. Let's tear it off. I tell you, I'm going to tear it very, very close. And then I'll tear some of this side off because it's got a little white edge on it. Oh, we got in more of the tear tools too. Somebody had been requesting one of those and we were out. But we got in more. I'm going to have to tear it down more. Let's see, I want part of my flower on there, so I'm going to run it up to there, I think. So I'm going to tear it off right there and right there. Yeah, there we go. And then we can put something else on there too. I still miss my barrel 25-gallon drum or 50-gallon drum. My dad used to have a 50-gallon drum, and that's what we would burn, because, you know, we didn't have garbage pickup back then. And so any paper products, we burned them in that barrel. And then my dad would use the ashes to go spread on the garden because, you know, they're really good for your garden and your flower bed too. But anyway, we would do that, and I love to burn things. I would go out there, I'd beg Daddy, what can I burn today? What can I burn today? He'd say, I don't think we have anything to burn today. And I'd go to Mama and I'd say, you got any boxes that you're empty and you want something burned? She was like, no. She said, I think you got a problem with burning things. I said, no, I don't. I just like to burn paper. I don't like to burn anything else. And I still love burning paper and things. I love it. Mainly paper. I don't burn anything else. But I just like to see those edges crumple up and turn black and brown. And I know I'm weird. But I just want a little small one for this. Let's just put that on there. You know, they would say I was a pyromaniac if you told them I like burning things. Isn't that a people that like to set fires, a pyromaniac, I think? I'm not 100% sure, but that's I think that's what it is. I think I'll put it right there. I don't like a fire any other way except in a big barrel where it can't get loose. I begged Whit for many, many years to get me a big 55-gallon drum or whatever, and he would not. Say, no, those things look like trash. I'm not pulling one of those things on here. And he never did. But now Benji says he's going to bring me one, so yay! Which all of these are from her Easter collection, and this is from Roxy Creations, Rachel. Okay, I pulled out a few. Now these are from my collection, and I think this is vintage checks, maybe? I'll try to look it up and put that down there. That's old checks that I have had in my stash because I bought some and then I copied them and put them on a digital. I scanned them and put them on a digital. Okay, let's do the bunnies. We should be able to get 2 or 3 of these on. See what I'm talking about? I've got plenty to do. It's just that I don't have enough hours. I think that's all of my glue. I might get a half of one out of that, but not much. So, Miss Brooklyn, I got news about Miss Brooklyn. She and her dad finally got Miss Millie, her horse, home. And the only reason that it took so long is because they were trying to build a pretty good sized fence so that she'd have plenty of room to rip and romp. And so Brooklyn and her dad was the only one working on it. And he's out of town a lot, so it took them a while. But they finally got all the fencing done. It looks so good. And they got her stall made in the barn. Well, as a matter of fact, he made more than one stall, but she's got her own stall. And Brooklyn is just beside herself. Alicia said, I can't even hardly get her to come in from the pasture to eat. She said she stays out there all day. She said, I told her, you've got to do your homework. Well, her schoolwork. They're homeschooled. And she said, Mama, I'll get it in a minute, but I gotta pet Millie a little bit more. She is just beside herself because of her horse's home finally. Which it hadn't been too far away from her, but it's been far enough that she couldn't go over there and see her every day. She still needs a lot of fattening up. She's still pretty underweight. But, you know, the people that they bought her from, they had, like, I don't know, 45 or 50 horses on a little bitty tiny farm. They had way too many horses, and she was one of the smaller ones. So I think the bigger horses, she didn't get to eat much. And so she's gotten so used to not eating a lot that they're having to train her to eat now. So, but she's getting there. She'll get there. She's got lots of grass and things to eat over there, which I know they can't eat grass constantly. It'll make them sick, but they've given her hay and grass and all the other good things that she needs, so maybe she'll fatten up some. Bless her heart, I felt so sorry for her because when Alicia sent me pictures of the stable and the mess that she was in from where they bought her, and there was so many horses there, and it was a little bitty place. There was no way all those horses was getting the nutrients that they needed. And like I said, her being a smaller one, I guess she just couldn't fend for herself, and she just wasn't getting what she needed. She's pretty timid, so she wouldn't get in there and fight with the big boys. But now she has her own pasture. Nobody to share it with. So that's the Brooklyn story. I haven't got anything on Aaron lately. He's just been singing and been working over here some and cleaning and helping his dad. So, and Miss Presley, I do have some news on Miss Presley. You know, she turned 16 in December. Well, her dad and mom gave her a car. It was a used car that they had, and So Alicia was just, which all of us parents are like this. If you're not, tell me, but I guarantee you every one of us is like this. Alicia was so scared for her to drive, she wouldn't let her go by herself. She just wouldn't. Presley would just beg, Mom, just let me go to the dollar store. It's just 3 miles down the road. No, 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 no. So Alicia and Presley was having a little bit of a problem. So I had to talk with Alicia. I said, look, when you turn 16, you got a car and your dad handed you the keys and told you to go. He didn't even ask me if it was okay if you went. And you drove to town your first time out. And I said, you've just got to let her go. It's not easy. You don't want to. I didn't want Alicia to go either. But, you know, her dad said go. And I said, no, please. And he said, she's fine. Let her go. So I said, you've just got to turn loose a little bit. So she let her drive over here Saturday night. Her and Bethany was going to meet here and then go out to eat and go do a little shopping. And so she let her drive over here Saturday night. Well, she followed her over here. And then when it come time for them to come back, and Presley had called her mom and said, we're headed back to Nene's house, because they went in Bethany's car. And she said, we're headed back to Nene's house. And she said, can I drive home without you coming over and following me? She said, Mama, I promise I'll be careful. I promise. So Alicia called me in tears. She said, Mama, I just don't think I can do it. I said, yes, you can. Just turn it loose and do it. You just have to trust that they know what they're doing. You've taught them all you can teach them, and you just got to let it go. I said, eventually you're going to have to, or she's going to be like 40 years old and still living at home and not driving anywhere. She said, it's just so hard. I said, I know it's hard. I said, wait till she graduates high school and graduates college, and then you'll say hard. I said, yes, it's hard. But something we as parents have to do, whether we want to or not. We have to get them out from under our little wings, let them go, spread their own wings. I don't think that one needs anything else. So anyway, Alicia called me a little while ago, right before I started the video. She called and she said, well, I let Presley drive to the dollar store. I said, you did? She said, yes, and I'm on pins and needles waiting for her to get back. And the thing of it is, parents have got it made these days. You know, when my kids were growing up, they didn't even have a cell phone. So if they got out, there was no way I even knew where they were. I couldn't track them. I couldn't call them, nothing. But nowadays, you know, they can track them on that Life 360, whatever it is, and they know exactly where they are. They can call them, they can text them, they can do whatever, and they know where their kids are. We didn't know that when ours was out and about. So I told Alicia, I said, be thankful that she's got a cell phone and you've got the thing to track her with, because we didn't have that with you and Melina. When y'all said you was going somewhere, we just had to trust that that's where you was going and that you got there safe and all that kind of stuff. She said, I don't know how you handle it. I said, well, it wasn't easy, but, you know, what other choice do we have? Keep you at home locked away? But, Lordy mercy, am I a talkative little thing today, or big thing today? I'm talking you guys' ears off. Have I talked for an hour yet? Probably. I'm just putting just a label on these because I think that's all that they need because they're so pretty. They've got flowers and little chickies, so I don't think they need anything else. And I don't think this one's going to need anything else because I don't want to cover up a lot of things. So we might just put, let's see, I'll just use another little label. I like these little labels. So that's my grandkids so far this week. And we've only started the week. And my kiddos. Oops. I got more glue on my fingers than I do on paper. There we go. Yeah, I don't think that one needs anything else. I love the collage and everything, so I think that one's good. Okay, let's do just a little bit to these few little pieces, and then I might let you guys go. I might, and then again, I might not. I think all I was going to do with this is just make it a little journal card. So, and I don't think it needs a lot too. This was a freebie from a couple of weeks ago, maybe 2 or 3 weeks ago. I really don't think that needs anything. I'm just going to leave it as it is. This little piece, it's a good Easter tag. Don't think it needs a lot. We might put a flower on it just because I don't see a flower on there. Well, there's an edge of one right there, but let's put this one right here on there. And I'm going to use a little piece of this. Now this is more white than what I would like, so I'm going to put a little ink on it. Yes, you can color your washi. And I think I'm going to put the whole thing on there because it's got a little stamp on it, and I like that. It's got that little stamp right there. I think that might be it. No, I think I'm on a little number right there, and that's it. That one will work. There we go. That one's finished. This, what was I going to do with this? I was going to make this into a journal card. I'm going to round the corners. Ooh, yep. I think I'm going to put that little label right down there, and that may be it. Don't think it needs a lot with all the flowers. That'll work. I tell you what, let's try a bird on here. Find one going the right way. Yellow-breasted one, but that one doesn't work. I think I'll put this one. It's got blue here, so we're going to set him right on top of that label like that. And there he goes. He just looks like a piece of the paper now. So that one's finished. I think I'm going to put that little label like that. It's a label that goes up and down because it's got a little tiny blue flower that looks almost like those right there. So I think I'm going to put him that way, and that's going to be all on that. I don't think it needs a lot. Sometimes I think I can just decorate too much. Sorry, I know that's glaring in your eyes. I apologize for that. I hadn't even looked up. So that's going to be that one. This one is from I think that's from the sewing machine. Vintage Sewing Machine and Roses, I think. I don't know the name of my digitals. I'll try to link them below. You'll be able to see it. No problem. This is the background pages. This is the front pages. Or this is the front pages. Somebody can probably tell me what the name of my digitals are better than me. This one is actually, I think, the Roses. Or Shabby Chic. I don't know. I'll put a link below. I've got two that look real similar, and that's the Sewing Machine one and the Roses one. They look real similar, and I mix and match them, so, you know, just like I have here. I wouldn't even know my kids' names if they didn't contact me all the time and it pop up on my phone and say, Alicia's calling. I'd probably forget about them, forget their names. Okay, this one, I think it needs a little something. I have no idea what that is outside. It's a loud noise. I think I might put that down there. Whoops. Just because it's on the desk. Sorry about that. Alicia called. I had to take my video or stop my video and talk to her for a while. So I was thinking about putting one of those on there, but I don't think it needs that. It's already got a flower on it. So what about a Tim Holtz stamp? And I think we still have quite a few of these booklets. I know we've got some. I can see them from here, but I don't know how many. Let's put one of these on there. I think these are cute. I think I want that one right there. Yeah, that'll work. These are already sticky and cut out. Got the little zigzaggies around them, so all you got to do is stick them on. And I think, really, I want it down here. Don't know why. Just put it in the place that it looks the best to you, I guess. The way it does me. There we go. And I don't know that I'm going to put anything else on there, except I will put some seam binding through it. So that will be that one. These two I don't think need hardly anything. Maybe just a small label, just a small one. Because they've got all of that on it. So let's see. We may let's put that one on there. It says melodious. I can't say that word. Melodious. Melodious. Just put it right there. Fill in that little gap. That one's finished. And then, let's see. Maybe a little label down here at the bottom. I may do that because it's talking about 3/4 and roll and all that. And this has got stitching on it, so... Which, not that your label has to match your tag or anything, but since it was laying there, that looked good. Alright, I think that one's finished. So we accomplished quite a bit, even though I did get distracted there for a minute. Got all of these finished, so this is a lot. And I probably won't put the seam binding in before I start to put them in the journal, but man, we got lots done. Well, that and that and that. These were already basically finished. So we got all of these finished. So that is it. Thank you guys so much for watching. I hope you have a wonderful April 1st. Bye-bye.